The Sims is a fantastic franchise, and one of the series' best qualities is its open-ended approach to gameplay. There really isn't a wrong way to play The Sims, and in the spirit of that, I decided to do a challenge where I would play as a family that survived entirely off of child labor. While I'm pretty sure you can do something like this in any of the games, I decided to go with The Sims 2, as it's my personal favorite, and I'm always looking for an excuse to play it. Meet the Sleazy family. You've got Jack, his daughter Jody, and her brother Jeff. While I could have played it safe and had the children mass-produce paintings, I instead decided that the family's fortune would be made through agriculture, as their rigorous physical labor demands seemed much more in line with the spirit of the challenge. As you'd expect, the early days were the toughest. Farming is a long-term investment, which meant that our income would have to be derived from the lemonade stand until our first harvest. And as you can imagine, building an empire, one cup of lemonade at a time, is an exercise in patience. Not helping matters was the federal government's insistence on abducting my workforce each day and forcing them to participate in the massive scam known as public education. The children's lives became an endless blur where they would tend to their crops, go to school, do their homework, tend their crops, and then eat dinner before heading to bed to start the cycle all over again. The weekend proved to be the only time that Jody and Jeff could get a reprieve and enjoy a little free time. Their father, Jack, could often be found honing his mind in his endless pursuit of knowledge, although to be fair, there were often days where he would just be found lounging on the couch watching TV, or just shooting the shit with the neighbors. Really, his only responsibilities were to keep the kids fed, make sure the bills were paid, occasionally fix shit, and make sure that the kids kept the house relatively clean. And just when funds were getting dangerously low, the first harvest came in and bought the family a little breathing room. After buying some much-needed groceries, the profits were then reimbursed back into the farm, and the family began to dream big, thinking they'd soon be living the life of luxury. But those dreams proved to be premature. The second harvest wasn't nearly as successful as the first, as the pepper plants died during the winter, although luckily the strawberries managed to survive, so it wasn't a total loss. The one bright spot during this period was that Jack had managed to strike up a relationship with the fetching Marissa, and while it might have been cold outside, it didn't take long for things to heat up between the two of them. However, during this time, Jack had neglected to make sure Jody and Jeff were taking care of their inside chores. The place had kind of turned into a total shithole, for lack of a better term, and the Sleazy family were more than living up to their name. Now that they were comfortably above the poverty line, I decided to have them hire a maid to take care of most of the housework. Not only would this give the family more time to relax, but happy workers are productive workers, and there was nothing Jack cared about more than keeping his little workers productive. And this is when things really started to come together. Jeff and Jody fell into a comfortable routine. Gardening became second nature to them, and each harvest was more bountiful than the last. By this point, the profits weren't only being reimbursed in the garden, but we had enough spare cash that the children were able to reap the benefits as well. And once he'd mastered the logic skill, Jack moved on to sculpting his body, becoming something of a fitness enthusiast. Eventually, he would even become confident enough to propose to Marissa. Life was good for the Sleazy family. However, it turns out that the good times were not meant to last. During Christmas, the lights on the tree caught fire, and the one thing the family had neglected to invest in was a fire alarm. Jack valiantly sprang into action to save his family, but he would prove to be in over his head and tragically perished attempting to put out the flames. As Jack and Marissa had yet to tie the knot, Jody and Jeff were left without a legal guardian, so social services came to remove the children from the monotony of the daily grind and put them into the loving arms of the foster care system. And I'd like to think of that as a challenge successfully completed. Hey guys, Dusty here, aka the Half-Baked Gamer, and if you enjoyed this video and want to see more stuff like it, let me know down in the comments. As always, thanks for watching, I'm out.